Good evening. My name is TJ, and tonight we are going to be interviewing Fa1nter, head coach of the Dive Denial of Hearthflame League. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Uh, just came out of work, doing really fine, and coming off a really decent week. I mean, honestly, looking that back, I got week was pretty interesting, but I'm sure we'll get to that a little later on. But anyways, any questions you need to quickly ask me? Like, what general questions are we looking for?
Appreciate you coming out after work. I know it's tough out here.
Of course.
About Dive Denial, what is the inspiration behind it?
Dive denial. Really, I couldn't think. If we're talking about the branding of the team, it's more of I could. It was 2 in the morning, and I couldn't think of anything else other than Overwatch. I've been grinding. Obviously, if you've seen my profile, I more than likely am on Overwatch. It really is just a lot. Overwatch. Huh?
That's Brig, right?
It is Brig. Yep. I play main support, so a lot of Lucio, a lot of Brig. So
That's cool. Gotta love support characters.
hell yeah. I don't listen. I'm not a Mercy main. At least we're on that. At least we're good on that. At least we're good on that part, right? At
Yeah, I'm
least we're good
definitely more
on
of
that.
a Lucio or Anna person, or Kiriko even.
Yeah.
So, we're a few weeks in, and I want to know, how do you feel about your team? I know you have some swipes here, especially with Mega Aggron over like the Fa1nter, who's in the audience right now.
Dude, Mega Aggron is like, I think right now, I looked at it and I knew I needed a steel type. Originally, my steel type was going to be Treads, but that got sniped, and that was also going to be my Rapid Spinner. So that's why I later replaced it with Sandslash. But I saw that I was looking at it and I was like, I need a steel type. I need something that can take these physical hits and something that can be basically the wall to end all walls. Like, we're talking like this is like the biggest wall you ever see. Not spatially, but physically. So I decided to go ahead and pick up Mega Aggron because I looked at that too and I was like, Mega Aggron D tier? That's a steal right there. Like I had to pick it up. There was no way I couldn't let anyone else pick that up. The value it gives for the tier it's in, immeasurable. Like that's probably the best Pokemon in D tier by far.
Yeah, I think that Mega Aggron is pretty good as long as you can cover for its weaknesses, because it's got the filter ability and it's got heavy defenses, but just got to worry about fire attacks.
No, the funny thing is that I think I've sniped like Fly like 13 times. And probably like 3 of his Pokemon gotten sniped by me. It was Mega Aggron and who else? I forgot who the other two were.
I know that Flying was going to want that revenge for you sniping them so much, but you guys haven't fought yet, right?
I haven't fought Fly yet. I fought uh the bug guy, which was Tyler, right? Is that his name?
Yep, that's it.
And then,
Yeah, it's looking like playoffs. You want to take on Fly1nter right now.
okay, so it's gonna be a big playoff match. Gotcha.
We're laughing right now because Fly was in the chat right now, talking right now.
Yep.
Friendly rivalry.
Oh hell yeah. Friendly, he says. Friendly, he says. It will not be friendly. Well, I hope it's friendly, but so the big thing is, if we're gonna talk about team, the team is actually built. The main core is built around Cleavor. Um, if you can tell, my first 3 picks were going to be originally. It was Cleavor. Obviously, was going to be like a third or fourth round pick. I don't see many people picking Cleavor around the first pick. I made the mistake of picking, I believe, in my first draft in this server as well. I made the mistake of picking Galarian Slowbro first, and I lost out on a lot of its more like better teammates. Instead of just building the team around that, I should have built it around, okay, well, obviously built it around that specific character, but I don't need Slowbro to be in all the time. And that's what I kind of realized, is that I need a Pokemon that is going to reliably be there and can reliably, fill a hole in my team. And then the second part of that core is Suicune. Suicune was a must pick. Again, great value for the tier it's in. And then lastly was Hisuian Electrode, which is just a pivot Pokemon, really. Or it's a pivot or a revenge killer. That's really all it's for.
Notice that Suicune is your Terra Captain or Wild Card, as we call it here.
Yep, my Suicune is my Terra. It's really only I'm really thinking about swapping my Terra to a different Pokemon, but Hisuian or not Hisuian. I chose Grass because I think it was a matchup thing for the first time, and I think I chose Grass as well because uh usually people run Fairy, and I also want an electric resistance instead of going up to because he had a Belly Bowl which was Terra Water, so I wanted to get the resistance on both electric and water for that fight. So I just wanted to get that squared.
Gotcha. And a 1v1 versus like water types. I thought that's why you would want to use like Terra Grass.
Oh yeah.
So it's been like 3 weeks, and I know you had like a rocky start, 6-0 to start, but you rebounded back there, and now you're 2-1. How do you feel about your season so far?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I feel like myself I've gotten better as a player. I've gotten a little smarter, but the thing is that I feel like that in moment decision making really gets me a lot. And it's obviously almost caught me games a bunch of times. Like last week, I believe swapping in a Volcanion on a Galvantula. What the fuck was I doing? Um,
It happens, you know?
yeah, I was looked at that and I was like, damn, this game is a fucking toilet bowl. This game is a toilet bowl.
Caught off guard because I think you could have just like switched into Palisade at that point, you know?
Yeah, I stayed in. I don't know what I was doing, honestly. If you want my truly honest reason why I made that swap, because I was in the middle of an Overwatch match. And I didn't want to keep him impatient, so there was times or I'm playing Ana and I had to stop. Like I had to go into a corner mid match and just like play.
Do that again, you know?
Yeah. Maybe next time don't get into an Overwatch match when I have a scheduled match. That's neither here nor there. Um and so but I did end up pulling it back that match. But for week 2, I guess it really was just shutting down the Tyrantrum and shutting down all the momentum that he was trying to get with that lead. I knew that if Tyrantrum came in, or if any setup Pokemon came in, because he didn't really have like a Stealth Rocker other than Tyrantrum. So I knew that whatever was coming in, either A, it's going to set up, or try to kill something off the bat, or kill one of a setup mons. So I wanted to disrupt it as much as I could. So I ended up paralyzing that Tyrantrum, and I think that's what ended up winning that match for me, is getting the Tyrantrum, just denying that setup. And that's a big part of my team, is that it denies setup, and it's tanky. It's going to live through that. It can live whatever you can dish out, for the most part, and disrupt you and try to, like, not allow you to do what you want to do, kind of thing. It's very much of a way of, how can I convert the battle over to my end so I can so I have the ability to make less mistakes over the fight.
And then week 3, you had like a crazy match where you were up against Volcarona, but you were able to outspeed with Urshifu, and then you had that curse set with Mega Aggron. Haven't seen it done.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought by the time Volcarona came out, it was already over, because I knew that if it was max speed, no matter what, it's outspeeding Urshifu, and Urshifu goes down, and it was full health, and I didn't know if it had heavy duty or it had sash. So no matter what was going to happen there, I felt like I lost. But when I saw that, and the fact that Cleavor missed Stone Axe, by the way, love that. And then when I saw Urshifu hit the Stone Edge, it was kind of just over, because I knew by that time I could just swap in Mega Aggron for free and set up Curse and Sleep Talk. Just easily sweep the rest of his team, which almost happened, but then that foul play crit.
Yeah, so there's a moment that was kind of crazy because like I've never seen Pheromosa use foul play. Usually it's because it's got a high attack, and so It's very rarely that a Pokemon's gonna have a higher attack stat than it, but because he had all that stuff going on, it just had a little bit more boost. You know?
It was the crit that really like punched it because by that time I already had 6 curses up. I was max defense, and it just punched right through it with a crit, and I was like, "Oh, what do I do here?" But luckily, the goat of that match was Wheezing, and getting that burn off on both Scizor, because I believe if Scizor was not burnt, he would have gotten Urshifu very low, and then Beedrill would have came in and killed. And if Beedrill wasn't burnt, Urshifu was just dead.
Point. He needed to like really preserve his special attackers because otherwise McGregor's just gonna kill it. You know?
Yeah, there's really only special attackers on that team were Galvantula, and Galvantula is normally a lead, and which in that case it was, and Volcarona, and Volcarona was just the biggest threat. I knew if I can get Volcarona out, the big thing was either getting rid of Sash that it might have with rocks, but I never got the chance to set up rocks because Stone Axe missed, love it, or getting rid, or just outspeeding it outright. And I opted for the latter because I believe both Kleavor and Urshifu had Sash that fight, which is why Urshifu still outsped even after the sticky webs.
3 matches down, 5 more weeks to go. Who do you think is the person you're looking forward to fighting the most out of Hearthflame League?
Looking forward, honestly, let me see. I'll have to find my team or my thing right here. Okay, here we go. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to going against I think it's Doom Desire, is it not? It is Doom Desire, yeah. But I feel like that's going to be a very interesting kind of team to run against, where it doesn't really have the craziest offense in the world. It's going to be more of like a stall out battle. The only really things I can see that are going to absolutely murder me is Mega Lucario and Superior if I let them set up or just let them destroy. That's the big thing. Veluza's with Terra Fairy is also going to be very scary. That Pokemon is deadly.
Looking at it, looks like you're gonna have to worry about speed, but I figure you're gonna handle that in prep.
Like I said, a big thing about the team is disruption. So, like Hatterene has Thunder Wave, Weezing has Will-O-Wisp. What else? Kleavor, Spidops, Palo, Aggron himself can all set up rocks. Dragonite has Defog for coverage, so does Volcanion. Like, there's just a lot of stuff where it's like, it's very gimmicky stuff that you won't really see most of the time, where it works because they don't know what to expect going into the match. It's like, do they prep for Hatterene and run Pokemon that can't be or like run something to get rid of the paralysis, or do they run special attackers all week and prepping for Weezing? Do they run 2 spinners, and two, like a spinner and a defogger for Spidops? It all really depends, and it also comes back to my team is very also set. It's much about setting up. Kleavor can set up with Swords Dance, Dragonite, Dragon Dance, Suicune, Calm Mind. Really, all my Pokemon are basically like it's to stall out what they're doing, set up my strats, and then just the rest is history. And everything else is kind of just like supporting the Pokemon I'm trying to build around. So if 1 week I want to build up my Suicune, and so I'll build a team around trying to get Suicune up as quick as possible, so I can just start sweeping for the most part.
So looking at your roster, who do you think is the best player on your team?
The best player right now, honestly, more than likely, I'll have to say I don't really know. Even though they've kind of showed up in the most matches, I believe it's still Mega Aggron. Yeah, because Mega Aggron just allows for so much to be done, especially defensively. It allows so much like stall, especially since it gets like rest sleep talk. And then if you put that in on a physical attacker, they don't have anything to switch into. You can just like live there forever, and just flatten everything else. I had the option to be like, oh, I can just go rest, and then instead of sleep talk, I can go like Stone Edge. But I thought like, okay, he's gonna bring Pokemon that are gonna like Pheromosa, who obviously, if I go Mega, which I'll have to against that Pokemon, I'll lose that stab, and it's probably not gonna get it into one hit KO range, and I just thought, okay, they have this Pokemon. I bring Mega Aggron, I'm gonna have a big hole without it. It needs that sustainability to stay on the. I need it to be on the field, but it also needs to do. It needs to do things. So Rest Sleep Talk was the only option I really saw.
So, were there any type of changes that you wanted to make, like as you were drafting between rounds?
Um, in many regards, at the beginning, I chose Masquerada instead of Volcanion, but I kind of realized that Masquerada really was just one Pokemon that filled basically what two of my Pokemon already did, which is either revenge killing, pivoting, yeah, revenge killing or pivoting, which I already have another grass Pokemon that does that. And then I have a revenge killer, but I have a dark type that already does that. So I swapped out for Volcanion because I needed that sort of like special attacking kind of presence, especially against steals. Like I don't want to have like with Mega Aggron, obviously last week, I don't want that to happen with my team. And I realized I had really all physical attackers aside from Hisuian Electrode, Suicune, and Hatterene. So I needed that special side on a more offensive typing.
So, after 3 weeks, how do you feel about your draft experience here over in Draftarig Season 5?
I wasn't around in 4. I was around when you guys were testing the bots and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So, it was a Dream League, not 4.5.
Yeah, I had to unfortunately skip out uh, on one of the. I think it was 4.5 itself, which I had to skip out on because I had college going on. But whatever, I dropped out that shit after a semester, so it is what it is. Um, but now I've come back. I guess really like all I can really say is like I have on and off experience with competitive Pokemon. I started playing around 2017, so around Generation 7, Sun and Moon, and into Ultra Sun and Moon, where really all I would do is play Ubers and use Mega Blaziken. But then I try to get like to different stuff like that. I particularly love Gen 7 Underused, where I'd run Infernape, Azelf, and there's one other Pokemon as a core, but it was super fun. But the only problem is that Gen 8 came around and a certain fossil fish, water type, ran OU for like 5 days, and I quit. So, oh yeah, and also Dynamax was legal back then, so hell nah.
Dynamax is not one of my favorite.
This is terrible. This is horrible. Competitively, like gameplay wise, it's cool. Competitively, it's terrible.
Trying to go for something, I guess, a little bit bigger than Megastones.
Yeah.
To like get to know more about you, who are like your favorite Pokemon?
Uh, for me, I guess for a long time, when I first started, it was Metagross. I always liked its design, but as soon as like I started like learning more about Pokemon itself, one of my favorite Pokemon is actually Manectric. I personally love just its design, and I think I love it more because when I was playing a Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, found a shiny one right by this or on the route where you can first catch it, which is right by the cycling road. I don't remember what number it is. Um, I walked in the grass. I was looking for. I think I don't remember what I was looking for. I was just walking in the grass, and I found a shiny one. I was like, "Holy hell!" And I caught it, used it on my team, and I was bam. That's what I can say. And then, but currently, my favorite Pokemon is probably Scyther. Just Scyther. Yeah. You did wonders for me back in that one I participated in. It was a Dream, I think it was. Yeah, it was Dream. Yeah. He was do wonders. That Pokemon was doing wonders for me. But I just like his design. It's pretty cool. I liked it. I just really like its design right now. But it's gonna change. Like I know I have my favorite Pokemon is swapped a million times. So
Your favorite Pokemon is just gonna change from like year to year just over competitive stuff.
yeah.
So I know there's like a lot of matches between like 7 leagues, but I want to know, do you like have any teams that you're looking for, or any like your favorite matches at all?
Actually, I haven't really been watching any outside of Draft League. The really problem is that between going home, coming back from work, scrimmage, or like I work 8 hours. Um, I work 8 hours, and I come home. I do scrims an hour later. Like, I don't really have the time to watch them, but if I do ever find myself with the time to watch them, then I will.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. I just tell people to like check out the draft announcements, and usually like we have the best replays out to like learn things, fun matches here and there.
Yeah.
So the last question is anything you want to share for people who don't know you in the server yet, really?
hmm There is one person outside of this server that I do watch. His name is Tomathan, where he would do. He's normally an Overwatch content creator, but he also does draft league stuff. And I watch him. Hell, I even talk to him sometimes and ask him like, "Hey, can you review this match for me? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, what could I do better?" He's a cool guy. He's very helpful too.
Well, Fa1nter, thank you for joining us, head coach of Dive Nile and Hearthflame League, and I look forward to seeing what you do from here on. Have a good night.